Hello and welcome to Microsoft Hates Greg. My name is Greg Deckler, and today we're going to be exploring a scenario sent to me by Simon Bolt, and asking ourselves, is it a bug? So first off, though, I need to thank Mr. Bolt for having a first and last name that I feel like I can have some amount of confidence that I can pronounce correctly, right? So I'm awful with that sort of stuff, so I greatly appreciate that. Second of all, second, I don't know if you'll be able to see this, but like because I'm zoomed in as far as I can zoom in on this, but you see how the horizontal grid line, like when it crosses the vertical grid line, that the dots and the horizontal grid line are like 1 or 2 pixels above the dot of where it crosses the vertical grid line. And yeah, it's neither here nor there, but I mean, it's one of those things that once you see it, you can't unsee it. Um, so yeah, you're welcome. All right. So the setup for this scenario is pretty simple, right? I got 6 rows of data here. I've got a period, which is January 1st to February 1st, and 2 rows also for March 1st. And I've got A, B, and C columns, right? They're just numbers, whole numbers. The important part is they're all around the same order of magnitude as one another. All right. So when I put that into a combined column and line chart with my x-axis being my period, my column y-axis being the sum of C, and then my line y-axis, I have the average of A and average of B. These are all implicit measures, right? And I get this chart. And this chart's nothing fancy or anything, but it is, I mean, I would say it's a well-designed chart from the fact that it has one single y-axis as the default, right? Because all of these numbers are all similar to one another, it creates one singular y-axis, which I think Nick Deborah would also agree is a good chart design aspect when you can do that, versus having a secondary y-axis and having different um, scales going on, right? This allows you to compare everything with one another easily. So I think it's a good design, right? If I want to have a secondary axis, I can come over here and I can turn that on, right? I don't know. Again, I don't know. Maybe there's a scenario where you'd want to do this, but uh, um, typically you would not want to do that, I would think, um, except for in some special case scenarios or whatever. But the problem is that when you come in here and let's say you want to be able to zoom in on your y and x axis, right, or at least one or the other, and you turn on your zoom slider and it turns on the secondary y axis automatically, right? Um, and you can't turn it off. Like if you turn it on and then turn it back off again, it's still there, right? Um, but this isn't what you want. And even the crazier part also is that this only scales the columns, right? You'd have to go in here and say zoom slider, secondary y-axis, right? And then you have to scale this, and it just, I mean, is miserable, right? Um, But so, I mean, so the question then becomes is it a bug? And because Simon apparently was going back and forth with Microsoft support, and they're trying to convince him that this is a feature. So so looking at this, like I think the first thing that I would say about this is that I think it fails user expectations, right? If I have a singular y-axis and a singular x-axis, and I want to activate zooming on that singular y-axis and singular x-axis, I would not expect that turning on zooming would activate a secondary y-axis, right? That would not be my expectation as an end user. Um, so I think it fails from a UI design point of view. That it's either just god awful design. You know, maybe it is a feature, just they god awfully designed it as a feature to be bad, right? Or it's a. But I would classify these kinds of things as bugs because they absolutely fail user expectations. And if you fail user expectations, then that is a UI design bug, in my opinion. I think the second thing that it fails in is that you can't turn it off, right? It turns it on and you're unable to turn it off. If I turn off the title, I turn off everything. There's no way to turn off the secondary y-axis once it's activated, which I would then again also classify as a bug, because I don't want it on, right? But you're turning it on for me for some reason just because I activated a zoom slicer. Um, I, I maybe maybe you guys disagree with me, but I think it's really hard to classify this as a by design. This is by design, right? I mean, even if it's even bad design, right? I mean, I think this is more of, hey, we added this feature and we didn't really fully test it for all scenarios because we're bad about QA and testing. It seems like that, especially these days, it seems like. So I don't know. I would classify this as a bug. You guys can disagree with me on that. You guys tell me why I'm an idiot, why I'm wrong, that this is a bug, but I think it's a bug. But yeah, that's all I had for this video. Hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you next time.